Hey everybody, welcome back. Let me get just a quick voice chat, make sure my players can be heard.
Hello.
Yeah, they can be heard. Yay! Oh my god, okay, that's enough.
Loud noises.
Welcome back for another episode of Cyorion Chronicles, particularly episode 69.
Nice.
Good to see everybody. Hi, Mom. Oh, Mom was just in time for that. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
So super excited and got a lot of wild stuff to do today, but we're definitely gonna try to get there organically, even though the players are all absolutely convinced we're getting there no matter what I say. So first things first, we'll do a quick round of introductions so everybody can say hi. We'll start with Eeny, Meeny, Miny, David this week.
Hi everybody, I'm David. I play Matron Yoro, the human witch warlock.
And then Maddie.
Hello, I'm Maddie. I play Isadora, the half-elf gun tank.
Gonna jump up to Josh.
Hello, everyone. I'm Josh. I play Jaeger Hellstrom, the human alchemist gunslinger.
Over to Zach.
Hey everyone, I'm Zach. I play Doran, the Dragonborn Barbarian.
All over today. And then we're gonna go to Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Maxmiel, the Tiefling Sorceress Bard.
And you don't get to see it, but Sarah has a new kitty. And super adorable kitty. She's so cute.
So cute.
But will be a terror on stream, so she said get out of the room. And then last but not least, Nate.
Hi, I'm Nate. I play Soren, the half-elf blade singer rogue.
Awesome. So we did have a oh, and I'm Ben, the DM. I do stuff around here sometimes. I forgot to create a source for this, so let me do this real quick. And there is a piece of art from our friend Sam that she made for us. 1 second, I am just getting it fit to the screen here. So Sam made this and said, why don't you just absolutely surprise them with this piece of art later? So let me get to the art share channel and add it there. This is one of our 6 things that we're adding today to the art share channel. So pay attention. If you're not on stream, you can go see, you can see them on stream, but then you can also go see the high definition versions in our stream. So this one in particular was made specially by Sam for one of our folks. I hope you guys enjoy. We'll taste my electrons.
Wow.
Nice.
That's exactly what I pictured. That's exactly what I was
It's
picturing.
amazing. It's amazing.
Oh my god.
All the rest of the art,
That's amazing.
I have like pre-scaled so we can see your guys' faces as it happens. And the high definition version, it just covers me. The high definition version will be in Discord so you can see it. But yeah, thanks Sam. We love Sam for all of the. Mom subscribed for 6 months. Thanks for resubbing, Mom. We love having you here. Sam did amazing work. So thanks, all the thanks again to Sam for all of Sam's amazing artwork. I know everybody's actively typing in the streamer chat in Discord. If you're not in Discord, you should be, because that's where all the cool stuff shows up.
It's true.
Max is pretty awesome to draw. So what happened last week, guys? We did some stuff, and I need to drink more of this.
We fought a big monster.
Yeah. We had our big kaiju fight.
You did fight a
some,
big kaiju.
Some frost giants, and then we made friends with the frost giants, and then the frost giants were like, "You come us," and then we did.
You did. You learned some stuff about the frost giants on the way there. Well, tiny bits of frost giant culture. Interesting things like they don't actually talk as little as possible. They talk as little as possible while they're out doing stuff, and they build big snow caves that they can sleep in. The Markerdons help dig all that stuff out, and you guys get to sit around the fire and talk with them and have arm wrestling matches and get told not to hit on their adolescent children. Maddie. And eventually I've like a whole bunch of discussion on the way back, getting to learn a little bit about their culture and customs. You guys basically dragged back the Remoras and the Graknork, which was from Kobold Press's Tome of Beasts, this awesome Arctic monster that is a prized target for frost giants. And with your help, they managed to take one down. So as far as you guys were concerned, in these 2 frost giants' eyes, you were pretty impressive. And that was Gufried and Vuktek. And then I think Kuvet was the name of the Markerdon, if I'm not mistaken. My notes are all chicken scratch because I was like the last 2 sessions I've been freaking out. So I think that's all accurate. Then you decided to ride into town as a champion, and where we left off, the rest of you walked in behind this display as Maddie was flexing and cheering. Sorry, not Maddie, Isadora. Isadora was cheering and flexing on top of the Graknork, and you all kind of get there and come out from behind this creature to get your welcome and see that the entire town is kneeling in reverence to this creature, and Isadora's standing on it like a champion. I keep saying Maddie because it seems like a very Maddie thing to do, not just an Isadora thing to do. Like Maddie would absolutely be like, I killed this thing! Respect me! But you kind of take breath for a moment, look around and realize, Isadora, that you are in a precarious position. And young Gufried kind of looks up to you and like grunts, goes, oh, and like nods his head to the side, like, get off of her.
Isadora immediately, usually very pale, becomes a very bright color of like strawberry pink, and you can see her ears are like hot, like practically steaming in this very frigid cold weather, and just very awkwardly just gets down off of this monster and is trying really hard not to make eye contact with anyone there. And then as she goes back to the group, she passes, her left shoulder along Soren's right and just stops and puts a hand on it. She says, I'm gonna go die in a hole now. And just goes and stands behind everyone else. Just trying to pretend she doesn't exist. Really hoping that the earth just swallows her whole.
I'm gonna put enhanceability on Isadora for dexterity so she can hide better. Just maybe don't be seen for a little while. At least remain towards the back.
Yeah, you can. Since there's a bit of a crowd, I will allow you a stealth check. You get it at advantage because you've got enhanceability on, so you can have a stealth check to really kind of see how much your shame is hidden and if you kind of got out of view quick enough.
Okay.
So you get it at advantage. I will tell you too, a nat 20. Most people were bowed in reverence before you took your full pose and you dove off quick enough. Anything below a nat 20, there's some complications.
Fuck.
A 13.
Why did it roll 3?
It didn't matter because all of them were 13. That's amazing. Oh, it triplicated. It's the exact same roll. That's so weird. It just printed out triplicate.
Weird. Okay.
So a 13. You see a couple people like shoot each other some glances and make a sign that you have not seen before, so you don't know what it is. They sign something to each other and they kind of return to their reverence, but for the most part, I'd say with the 13, with the fact that they are looking at one of their fabled creatures, one of the most prized hunts that happens, as Vuktek and Gufrid explained, once every like 50 to 100 years, these things rarely get captured or killed. So it's a pretty momentous event. Most of the people are in reverence to this creature. And the rest of you witness as everyone's kind of taking stock of what's happening and bowing in reverence. One frost giant kind of comes from the back. He looks much larger in width to the others, seems to be adorned with a lot of different bones, is carrying a very large staff that even from a distance you can tell has been carved from like the femur of a Markerdon. It is this massive bone staff that he's walking forward with, and there's a ton of things hanging from it. Does not require an insight check. This is a spiritual leader of these people. Like one glance, you're like, oh, he definitely runs the religion around here, whatever it is. And he comes up to the Graknork and starts humming and chanting some droning blessing over it. We heard a couple stories from Gufrid and Voktek, just as they shared a couple stories, and you all realized that the language they speak is incredibly slow. And there's a very slow message happening here, and it's very deliberate, and everybody stays kneeling for the entire thing. Are you all standing, kneeling? It looks like your two friends that found you are also kneeling.
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 I would also have been keeping up. Comprehend languages, just
Yeah.
For no other reason than just because I can.
Jaeger?
Reluctantly kneeling.
Before
In the very
he
back.
before Jaeger, like when Jaeger took his pause before reluctantly kneeling, Isidore is just like tugging on his jacket, like just please just don't make this worse.
Yeah, okay.
With comprehend languages, it is a fairly solemn prayer to the spirit of this creature, its might and its battle prowess, and thanking it for what it knows to be, or for what he knows to be a valiant effort and fight against their champions, and that he thanks them for the sustenance that he'll provide to this village.
Okay. This might not be something I can pick up from this, but does it seem like thanking it for its valiant effort, is that like a steel sharpened steel kind of situation where like
Very much, yeah. It's very much like a steel sharpened steel.
Okay, interesting.
So after the prayer is completed, he reaches down and like opens the mouth of the creature, and just with one hand busts off one of the teeth of this creature and affixes it to the rest of the collection of like little things in the staff. But you see that there are two other teeth of similar size embedded in the upper portion of this staff, and he takes this next one and puts it above it and just shoves it into the staff, adding a third of these Graknork teeth. And then he breaks off two more, and he heads over to Graknork and Gufrid and Vuktek, his the son and father. And the two of them both stand up, and he takes the teeth, a tooth to each of them. They both hold out their, what are our passive insights here?
20, I think, for me.
There's some very good insights in this group. So, well, insight, actually, the only person that's got a decent insight is Soren with a 20. Soren, what you pick up on with the insight is they each hold out their non-dominant hand.
Oh.
And he takes the tooth and he slides it in on the thick part of their palm and just cuts across it. And they both stand there and just like take it, and then he hands them the tooth with the other hand. And as soon as he hands it to them, they hold it up with their blood on it, and each one in turn, the crowd of Frost Giant cheers for them. And they take that as a personal trophy. And then with the bloodied hand, they each put one handprint on the femur each.
On the which?
On the big femur staff.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Does it look like there's a bunch more handprints that are like older?
There are 4 other handprints you can see that are much, much older. 3 of them around the first one, and then a single massive handprint on the second one. And then these 2 put theirs on top of that, near the third one.
Okay.
There's just a roar of Frost Giants cheering. And then Gufrid and Vuktek both stand forward, motion to you all, and you see them just give a few simple signs that says our hunt partners, welcome them. And then everybody just kind of, the entire village stands up, and you all have this horde of Frost Giants approaching you quickly now. About 4 or 5 people take Cuvette, the Markerdon, and the prize, this massive creature, and they take it inside and begin the process of butchery. You know, now at this point, this is claimed by the village, and they are pulling it inside to start working on breaking it down. And everybody else comes up to start looking at the group of you. and it's not looking with eyes. They are they are reaching out and wanting to like touch you and like look at your clothes, and they're signaling there's about 15 conversations happening inside, and each of you gets a swarm of about 8 to 10 frost giants around you each.
Can I, as one of them is approaching, because you said I picked up essentially how to converse with the sign language thing, right? Can I just focus on one of them, whoever is like making eye contact with me, and let them know, don't touch Jaeger? Like really like make
Emphasis
that connection
check.
there. And
Emphasis check.
2d20.
Him.
Okay.
Danger.
11 and a 19.
11 and a 19.
Woo!
You do your best to communicate don't touch, and then point at Jaeger as the crowd's going, and then it seems to be a feminine frost giant, kind of just lets
like,
out a
you tell them like don't touch him, that kind of thing.
Jaeger's, you're about to get swarms, you hear another like a female sounding one from the back, just ah! And the group stops that's in front of her. They look back to her, and she points to Jaeger and signs, don't touch that one.
Just
At Jaeger, there's like
my
a group of
jacket.
frost giants that are like about to approach you. They all stop and turn around, and then they look back to you, and then they just kind of start talking and pointing at you.
Oh, boundaries.
I thank her.
They're not as much like groping you or anything inappropriate. They're just kind of like doing the best they can with their giant hands to like inspect your clothing and like what you're carrying with you. And they're kind of like, they see the Qatar hanging from Soren's waistband where he stores them, and they kind of point them out. One of them holds out a knife, and they're talking about they're really kind of just looking at what you have and talking about the different way that the mainlanders, or they don't call you mainland. It translates weird. It's almost like the centralists, because remember, this is a frost ring around the planet. Anything inside is centered from them. They hold the perimeter.
Oh God, they think we're libertarians.
Libertarians are not centralists.
I'm gonna need a second.
Isadora-
I'm gonna need a second one of these apparently.
Isadora is very quick to hide Calibur's blunderbuss, to take it off her back and just kind of like slide it beneath her coat, and just kind of like just doesn't want anyone to like accidentally like touch it or have a misfire, you know, because it just magically reloads, and she just really doesn't want to cause any more damage to this encounter.
Oh yeah, I mean the thankful thing, you know, giant fingers probably around like that big around each, and Calibur's got a little chamber, but
True.
her little pistol grip, yeah. So there's not really much room for them to set it off, thankfully. But understood that you don't want them fondling it or looking at it. But after a few moments of them kind of discussing things, and Botrin, they get to you, and they're incredibly interested in like looking at Botrin's tattoos.
Well, my hair is also waving in slow motion. It's kind of moving, and Spackle is presenting herself, but we're just sort of
being creepy.
a little bit, yeah, not in a bad way, but just sort of like a
Pleasant.
maybe a little bit of a presentational way.
Yeah,
But yeah.
presentationally creepy. I dig it. They get a great look at all of you, and as soon as they kind of start talking about like looking at Botrin, there's a intense conversation that starts up around Botrin and talking about from the signs and what you can see, those of you that were successful in interpreting it a little bit, they're talking about Botrin's tattoos, and they're incredibly interested in how they've done that. And you see a few of them like discussing, and then Botrin, they signal you a little bit, and one female like pulls down a bit of a shirt. You can see her sternum, and then like the sides of her breasts are tattooed, but it's very it's a traditional bone tapping style. You can see there's lots of dots in lines, so these are tapped in, and then as well as alongside them, to almost frame them, there's ritual scarring around it. So you can see
Nocturne makes sure to take off his the upper part of his clothing, so his entire chest and back is exposed, and his arms, so they can see the variety of the tattoos and stuff there as well.
Cool. Make a con save.
Cold as hell.
Because it's cold.
It's the fucking coldest place on the planet. 14. DC out here is a 16. So you start to develop frostbite a little bit. Really, your skin goes numb, but you take just a D4 of damage. So 2 points of damage, of cold damage that you're not resistant to because you did open your clothes to the elements. Exactly, Sam. What a way to go, though. Check out my sick tats, and then you're frozen forever in a village.
Well, as I know, Botrin can't stand it that long, so he immediately puts the cold weather clothing back on. But
it stings for a moment, but in the back of your mind, worth it. So there's a lot of and they're starting to discuss wanting to inspect closer. So at this point, as soon as Botrin shows, they're like trying to close you up, and they're hurting you inside the village. As you guys begin to get herded in, is everybody kind of following the crowd as they take you inside?
Yeah.
Where's the spiritual leader? Did he go into the same building that everybody else
Was
went
still
into?
talking with Goodfried and Vuktek a little bit on kind of the side of the conversation. I'm trying to find my notes here. I think I put there it is. He's outside of the village still kind of talking, and as everybody starts to herd you guys in, he hits the staff towards the ground. It works incredibly effectively, and you don't really need an Arcana check to pick up on it, those of you that can cast spells, specifically like wizard spells, specifically evocation spells. He casts like a cantrip version through the staff, almost of Thunderwave, that it lets out a reverberation into the ice as he and it kind of goes, and you can see the snow ripple out around it and the ice fracture a little bit, but it's almost like a little and it like gets people's attention. And those of you again that translated really well see that he says only to the meeting tent. And you are all kind of led centrally into the village. I know I described this at the end of the session last time. It was pretty late, so I did want to read this out again for everybody. So perched at the foot of this colossal mountain within Holderima is the city of Kolvigstuden. There are homes here clinging to the mountainside, and the architecture melds with the surroundings. You see a lot of... from here, you can see at the bottom of this mountain is an exquisite glacial lake. Incredibly clear, even from the distance. Like, you can see the color of the rock behind it. And now that you're kind of coming into the city a little bit, you can see that there is an opening, and there are two vessels in the water. And there is a cave opening for this lake that goes into the mountain. On the secret tunnel, on the homes here, you can see that all of the homes are basically on massive timber cut sled tracks. They have, even from a distance, you can see that they shine with like fat and glistening sinew, tying them up and keeping them attached to the homes. They've pretty much found an ingenious way for the homes not to get pushed away by the glaciers. And then when they anchor the homes together and anchor them to the mountain, the glacier slides underneath them. So even though it moves slowly over time, it doesn't crack foundations and move homes. They stay in the same place. That was the one thing I wanted to make sure we pointed out as you came in. And you're brought past the main entry gate of the city. You can see some of the other homes. There are some, there's like a massive Markerdon pen. It's really just some bones that almost look like whale rib bones marking where the edge of the pen is, and there's 3 or 4 markerdons in there that are half buried in the snow. They've got chunks of Remora's carcass nearby, and they kind of just stay in that area. And after Cuvette unloads the sleigh, you can see a couple of the villagers bringing Cuvette back to that pen just to relax. It's not really a pen. These creatures could clearly escape from it if they wanted to. It just kind of barriers where they should stay. The rest of the homes are built on this outside in kind of a half circle enclosure, coming to a point around this large meeting hall. And you can see past some of the homes. Because of your stature, you're able to see the lake in the distance past it, but you also see collections of other buildings back there. And this very long central longhouse is kind of the point that you're being brought to. And as soon as you get close enough, you can see as they start pulling back huge flaps of tanned animal hides, that this is just a large eating hall. This is the central feasting hall of this village. Village from the front, but this place probably holds somewhere close to 500 or 600 frost giants, with all of the homes and buildings in the back of it.
Okay.
Inside this building, there are chandeliers that are mostly animal bones with fat and wax candles made from what's available in Holderima. The few trees that are here, they frame a larger table up at the distant side from where you enter. It seems that wood, being the scarce resource, is something that's prized, and it goes around a couple large chairs at the head table of this hall. A lot of the other table pieces here are either carved from bone or seem to be shaped purely from ice. And I will take a nature or an arcana check from Maximiel and from Soren and from Botrin.
I'm gonna go with Arcana.
Arcana.
Bang.
You're up. Dirty 20.
20,
24.
24. The ice that's in here, you've seen similar spells before. Max, you had met a person who was a member of a druid coven in your travels briefly, and they had done the same kind of stuff with wood. And you've heard of people using spells to shape stone, wood, and water, and it seems that the shamanistic traditions up here help them to shape the elements as well, and they shape what they can't use the natural resources for. They shape out of the ice itself, and it seems enchanted to sit on. And as soon as you're all approaching, there's not really a table that you could get up into. You guys might be able to get up into the chairs, but you'd be standing to get to eye level with the table, just because their size defeat people so much, or seat people so much larger than you. But you're ushered past the long rows of tables, and you witness firsthand someone casting some sort of ritual spell with a 24 Arcana and a dirty 20. You can identify some of the sigils that they're using have roots in shape water and create water, and these people are very in tune with the ice around them. And they literally craft you guys a small table that is seated up near this seat of honor, whoever it is at the front of this room. And there's a little table with 6 seats. And then as soon as they kind of see Spackle come in, they put together a smaller, like, high chair type situation that would be befitting her, and shape a little Spackle seat. But it is, again, small. Like, sitting down, you would be 3/4 to almost the full length to the underside of the table.
Okay.
Wow.
Doran, having Maximiel, always the short friend to have around, you suddenly see how the world is viewed through her eyes.
The world
This
can be
like
a pretty
for you guys?
scary place.
This is definitely not in my wheelhouse. Is this how you feel all the time?
Oh yeah, this is like a I didn't realize anything was different, you know?
Just gives her a pat on the head.
They invite you guys to sit, and they begin to shape out of ice different types of utensils and bowls and cups for you. They don't really have anything that's of your size, so they begin to shape it. And the first thought when they bring out some large boiling tea kettle is, how is it going to hold up? But the nice thing about enchanted ice is that when you shape it with this sort of magic, apparently it holds its shape regardless of the temperature. And you're all sat down, and they don't really make like an individual teapot for you, but they open the lid of the teapot and they lift up, like they'll pinch your little cups are in your hand and in their hand and like scoop them up and set them down for you. It's not, super tiny. Trying to think of like a good, kind of like this here. There's a medicine bottle right here. So they're kind of like pinching it like this, it's not super tiny to them, but it's small enough that they kind of got to be like, there you go. And scoop out. You're all scooped out these cups of like this milky looking aromatic tea. And a few of the people sit around you, and you see them all at this point, since they're inside now, that the flaps get closed. There's a large fire in the center of the room. That whatever is preserved there is coated in animal fats, has a bit of a waxy smell as it burns, but it burns slowly and gives off just enough heat to make the room comfortable, that a lot of them start to take off caps and undo their face masks. That even the women, massive bearded face masks to help keep them warm, and you take them off, and you see immediately a lot of the neck and facial tattoos running up the sides, and then some of the ritual scarring. The women undo from the sides of their masks these massive braids of hair that had been previously hidden but are now let out freely, and they kind of loosen up the top a little bit, and you can see the ice and snow coming out, and then the braids hang loosely, but they all start to get comfortable. And it's a wonderful and interesting mix of people. You see that any rumors you had previously heard about the horrendous frost giants and these great beasts from the Goliaths of North Galea, talking about this force of same looking monstrosities that would destroy entire hordes of Markerdon when the Goliath were scared to stand against one. Instead, there is a diverse culture and mix of people.
When
when
Isadora happens to make eye contact with Gudfried, she does her best to just sign like, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My bad."
Yeah. He chuckles as you do that and claps you on the back with a hand, where this part of the palm hits your entire back, and he has a good laugh at it. You take a quick glance around the room, and you see a couple people clocked it that have a chuckle, and you see what are definitely the couple giant Karens that clock it and are just like, "Oh, that bitch! I can't believe she just." There's definitely
Karens are to be feared.
the tips of her ears are still bright red.
But you're all brought hot drinks as people start to make their way in and chat. You see this spiritual leader move through and pass to the other side, and exits out the other side of the tent, followed by the father Vuktek, as they head to the other side. But you start to hear bits of conversation going, Soren, although it's slow. They intermix in here like they did in the snow caves, words and some signs to keep the conversation moving. It seems that the real conversations that need to be told, and the serious ones are done fully in their native tongue. Things that are important should take time to be said. And then otherwise they're mixing in hand signs, having conversations. Not being a native speaker, it gets a little tough to keep up with the changing between the signs or the conversation that happens and then 3 or 4 signs intermingled between each word. It's like switching between, Korean and like Turkish, trying to jump between 2 totally different communication models and understand what's being said contextually.
Got it.
But they really seem to be celebrating the haul of this great hunt, and they're all drinking massive cups of whatever it is that you guys have in front of you.
Can I try and like subtly identify what it is? I just want to know what is tea like out here on the edge of the world?
It's
Because they don't have wood.
it's milky and smells herbaceous, but that's all
Okay.
you've kind of got.
Can
Make a
I try
nature
and-
check for me.
Well,
just
can I like cast identify on it?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay. Yeah, just carefully like put the book down on my lap and just sort of go through that 10-minute process. Just like, what is this? I'm curious.
Okay. I have to switch pages. Too much lore. Thanks, Pullet, for resubbing, buddy. For 5
cool.
months. Thanks for hanging out with us, Pullet.
Hey, pull it.
Yeah, the intent is not to like make a big show of like what the fuck is this, but just like I'm just curious. You said it seems like some sort of herbal tea thing, right?
Yep, it does. Well, it seems herbaceous and it looks milky, is what you have so far. And the more you sit over it, the little bit more of a sour smell you get. But identify gets you all the information, right? This
I
is
mean, yeah,
called.
it's-
Do you get the name from identify? I gotta double check identify.
I believe so. If it's got magic properties, requires attunement, recharges says you learn whether any spells are affecting it. Or if the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it. Oh, if it gives me names.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, no.
It's
All right,
not
I
magic.
guess.
You don't learn any magical properties about it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not sure what at all this is.
Weird. Okay. No, I'll take a sip.
Does it have the consistency of like a matcha? Is it like that?
No. Honestly, the drink I was just drinking, you all knowing exactly what it was, it has the consistency of that,
Oh no.
Nice.
like a cream, almost like an Irish cream, but it smells herbaceous and slightly sour.
And they're all drinking it.
They are all drinking it and seem to be celebrating something, like namely celebrating the return of this creature.
Taking
And-
a sip of it, what does it taste like?
Acidic.
It's not fermented. It's not fermented, right?
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh shit. Okay.
Acidic and sour, some sort of fermented milk, and then did a lot of the herbal notes of like of licorice, those really strong
Okay.
cutting herbal scents.
Anise.
Anise, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
It smells a lot of anise and licorice, and it is a fermented milk product that is steeped with herbs to make it more palatable. And it's decently alcoholic.
I'm from the Swedish mountains. Bottoms up, y'all. Chug it.
Wow, it feels like I just drank a whole apothecary.
Autrin empties about half his cup. Waits for it to kick in.
It kicks in pretty quick. I mean, it warms your belly and coats it in a thick fashion. It's maybe once or twice in everyone's life, you go reach for the milk and you think it's good and you get that moment. The initial kind of like is brought back by like some of the ginger and the anise that helps like calm the stomach as it's accepting this disgusting liquid. Exactly, Sam. I accidentally hit my mute button as I was deleting something. But exactly, Sam. Yes, it is. It's like Mongolian fermented horse milk. That is the inspiration for this
Okay.
drink.
Okay.
Um,
I just kind
thanks for Chappie for 7.
I'm just so conscious right now of how different this tastes to me as it does taste to the rest of y'all. It must be
taste-
very potent because I'm tasting it.
Right,
It's-
that's right. Your taste buds are less receptive, right?
Yeah. Actually, it's not bad. Just very aromatic.
In the realm of like very fragrant gin too, like little bits of those notes. Alcohol, ABV, about 40%, like 30 to 40%, like a not a pure spirit, but definitely get you warm in the body and put some meat on your bones.
Liquor.
Yeah, quite interesting. You guys each kind of get a couple drinks in, and I'm gonna fix these names really fast. But Gufrid swings back by, drinks another cup, but he heads back and joins some other folks. Just immediate kind of connection for those of you with close family, mom, grandma, maybe a couple cousins or childhood friends. There's a table, like there's 3 long tables in this tent that go up, but as soon as he comes into the room, the congregation kind of breaks up from one side, and they all come and they get sat down at the very front of one of the tables. He holds a bit of a place of honor, and they all get to sit there, and they're talking with him, and he's embracing everybody. This is a big moment where he basically has, not only has he gone through the rites that were explained to you, that he is coming of age in his society, but he and his father have come back with something truly amazing that, as far as you know, only 2 people in this shaman's lifetime, the leader's lifetime, have come back and done. Writing down names really fast so I can switch pages so I don't have to go back and forth all night. What would you guys like to do while the giants seem to be celebrating Gufrid right now, and Vutek is not back yet, nor is the shaman?
What's out the back door?
There, you can't see from here. When the flap was opened, you could see other homes and stuff like that, other pieces of the parts of this society were back there. You couldn't really tell from this distance, but it was bustling with activity.
Okay, Max is going to cast Disguise Self to make her look just basically icy white. So it's like Max, except bluish, like a super pale blue, so she looks like snow or ice, and is just going to hop down and walk to the back and look through the flap and see if she can see the shaman or the dad.
Okay. What is your perception?
Low.
Mm-hmm.
Passive of 12.
How good I can get my voice going for this, but you head back to the back flap and you pull it open ever so slightly to get a look. And what you don't notice is something underneath the snow and ice out back. Just feeling the vibrations in the ice. And as you get to the back door and start to peer through, you get a good look around for a second, then you hear a very low rumbling.
Puppy?
A Markerdon's head starts to emerge from the snow about 10 feet from the back door. And you can see this one is intricately tattooed. There are adornments hanging from the horns of this creature as it starts to rise up out of the snow, and then like goes and lunges slightly towards the door at you and like snorts at you and blows you back into the room.
Wow. All right. Didn't realize that we had to stay in here. Hi, puppy. Good boy. Good job keeping watch. You're doing really well. And
Boy.
she'll turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Max, we are kind of here at the mercy of our gracious host. Maybe come still yourself and enjoy the food and drink.
I didn't know we had to stay in here. No one told us we had to stay in here. They went out there. I wanted to see.
And what did you discover?
A tattooed Markadon.
And what did he have to say?
Jaeger and Botrin,
That means go away.
you notice as like the breeze comes in of the hot breath of this creature that blows her back into the room. Gufrid is a little bit into his cups at this point because everybody's putting a drink in his hand. He's got something to celebrate. But he looks back towards your table and you see him like got his fingers out and he's counting you guys and trying to figure out what's going on, and like looks back towards the door, and then Max, like in her icy self, scurries back over there and is talking to you guys and looks back and goes and turns back to his friends. He rolled a drunken perception check of like a 14 and a 6. So disadvantage, little man's not handling it.
I mean, aren't we a little curious about what's happening? I mean, I like, yay, celebration, but I wanted to, thought we were going to find out some stuff, and how are we going to
Deeply
find out
so,
some
but
stuff?
These people move at their pace, and I think we should respect that enough to let them decide when they are going to tell us what is happening and where we are going.
By the looks of it, it seems that's going to take a little bit of time.
It very well might.
I think,
Well,
you
what
know,
if
it
we
is
don't
wise to
have
join in
anything
the celebration tonight. Join in the celebration tonight, and then tomorrow we discuss business.
Ultron will lean over to Max and say, I do have invisibility memorized.
And I can fly, so no vibrations. I like the way you think. All right.
As you're all having your conversation, your table is oriented so 3 of you are able to like look at that door as it comes in. Who's looking at the door? Who seats with their face towards the door? Max,
Botrin doesn't,
Isidore,
but Spackle does.
Spackle in the high chair definitely does.
Can the
And
chairs
Jaeger.
move?
They're crafted out of ice and moisture that was just like on that platform, so they rose up out of it.
I don't like having either door to my back.
So you have the entrance door down to the left, and then there's a back flap out one side in front of you, across from where the table's at.
If I can keep my eye on both entrances, yes.
So you don't notice it, Maximil, as you're kind of like sitting down and talking to the group, but Isadora and Jaeger, where you were sitting, you could see the door open. And what walked in after Isadora kind of got Maximil got snorted at, was a younger frost giant woman, who walks up behind you guys as you're talking. And you're talking, in common, a group of you, about wanting to know more. Why are we being held here? And this woman walks over to the head table, like kind of the platform you guys are at. She reaches up for the pot that's up there, the teapot of this stuff that's being warmed up, and she pours herself a warm mug and takes a big sip as she walks up behind the group of you, and in perfect common says, "You'll all find out soon enough."
Bah!
Wow.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good.
I feel like that's
Hello
good.
there.
Good day, I think, is the appropriate greeting. It's been some time since I've conversed in common. You'll have to forgive me.
You do it
Oh,
quite
Oh
well.
no,
It's great.
you are excellent. Where did you learn?
A
Isadora,
gentleman,
keep it in your pants.
a gentleman named Haverford taught me.
Oh.
He's
Many
actually
years
why we picked up this little trail of ours. Him and his friend, and pull out the necklace, Tusk.
I heard about Tusk. It's unfortunate that he fell to the, you say Remoraz, yes?
Indeed.
unfortunate. I wish Haverford himself was here to greet you, but he died here of old age.
Really? So he was successful then.
He was. He ingratiated himself with our society and left me his books and taught me when I was a child. You get a look at, like, seeing her now, you see that the other people kind of move around her with a bit of reverence, and you note that she too carries a bone staff, but hers is much less decorated.
Does she kind of look like the other one?
Yes.
In terms of like facial
Yeah,
appearances
yeah.
and stuff? Okay.
What is your name? What should we call you?
Larsan is my name.
Larshan?
Larsan.
Larsan.
LARSAHN?
Nice try.
Larsan. So, you all helped to bring down the fabled Graknork of all things. What?
Yes, it intruded upon the hunt that your people were conducting.
Eufried is a good boy. He'll make a fine hunter. His father Vutek saw to that. But it is his day, and now it is your day as well. My father's one of the old ways. He never liked Haverford being here, but I understand you all are after some interesting prey.
Indeed. Do you happen to... Nobody thus far has, but I don't suppose you know anything about where they are or where they are coming from.
I do not. We've heard rumor in trades that there's a port town that's being discussed that Vutek is making a case to bring you all to the city of Eppin. It's a place that you may find answers. I have never been personally, so unfortunately I can't give you more information, but...
Quick question, out of character. What was the name of our guy that made it here and died of old age?
Haverford.
That name
Haverford.
just Haverford.
Lindholm, I believe was his name.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do not remember how to spell the last name, but...
Lindholm.
you go.
Lindholm.
Okay. I'm trying to take up the habit of taking notes more often.
Hey, it's good. We like that.
You mentioned Haverford that left his materials to you after his passing. Do you still have these materials?
Some books, yes. A couple of historical accounts and some of his personal journals, as well as 2 pieces of, he called them fake books. They did not happen.
Fiction.
Yes. Never found the word written down again, but fiction was it.
I'll take out a little piece of paper and like tear off a corner from the back of my notebook and just write the word for her, just slide it to her.
Thank you. I haven't seen that one written before. That's how I expected it to be said, but I haven't said it in a long time. Not many people ask me things in common I have to read every day to keep up with it.
If I may pry, you said he instructed you in
How
what?
to speak common and the mannerisms of the we call them in the rough translation as center people. Those of you that are not of the ice. We know that there's lands beyond. Our people have fought with the Goliaths before. They've now been turned to esteemed allies and partners on the hunt. We've traveled to their fjords and fought Markradon with them. We've also had the chance encounter or two with the dragons. The beast of Barthorn is quite something else, and we have no interest in taking his territory, so we leave it be. But we understand that there are... Fortunate to have survived. We understand that there are many different ancestries of peoples that live amongst you. But our term for all of you collectively as those in the center. We hold
What
the
about-
crime.
What about those that aren't in the center? You're implying that there might be an outer.
We
them, wouldn't
we are the outer. I've heard that there are others. There's some,
Beyond.
There's nothing beyond. The tales say that if you continue to walk on the ice long enough, you will simply float away into nothingness. I've not tested it for myself, but if you would like to be my guest, it would be a sad fate, though, for intrepid people such as yourselves to walk off into nothingness.
Have you ever encountered somebody with